Okay, so I've just sat down and jotted down a bunch of ideas in regards to both the logo for Field and the wording.
We're doing the sketching and I'm not a good sketcher, so I look into more picture and see how I might generate idea.
Basically, I'm already understanding that Field should be quite bold. I want it to be scalable, which means at a small size and at a large size, very easy to read.
The first thing coming to my head is the gravity field, and which can show a wormhole or black hole. But this is a bit more scientific, and our idea is more related to creativity and exploration.
Stuff that's, cursive or anything that's complex like that is just a no-no, especially since Field should be applicable on all sorts of cases, so we want to work with different colors, different textures. We want something that we can modify.
The field in my head can also mean grassland, like you can do whatever the hell you want. So what you can see in the grassland is a sheep, so I use the eye of the sheep. I know Alex doesn't like an eye.
Initially I had this idea of everything being lowercase, but it's a bit too much like there's another channel called Fern, documentaries and stuff, feels like that. So I want to avoid doing something like that. I'm more leaning towards this sort of stretched out, emboldened looking sort of style. I don't know yet the full feel it should go for.
I want to show the idea of all we see is field. For the sheep, all he sees is grass he eats. For us, is a space we create.
Then playing with a bit more verticality. This is very tall and boxy. This one's very rounded. Playing with some of the letters individually. The E was quite interesting. Could I add an angle in there? Is it taking too much away from the whole word? Is it too complex?
Then I look into some picture they did in the grassland. You can see the front has grass, and then the middle ground, the back, and then the sky. Got 3-4 layers of it. The subject, sheep, there doesn't tell anything besides the audience imagination. What should Field be?
There's a bit of discussion about singular simplified symbols. I love logo modernism, the use of iconography and things like that. A stamp with a letter in it or a stamp of Field could be quite interesting. I have lots of ideas for shape, but I feel like I need to hone in somehow.
Then I look into what Field really is. It's about exploring. And I thought about airplane. I used the picture of the first airplane on the testing flight, which is on the field. It is kind of cool. That picture is the cowboy with the airplane, which is the two different eras. They both are showing the freedom of free spirit.
Charlie and I have been talking about how Field is sort of this, Charlie said revolutionary. I want to say somehow it reminds us we're on the cutting edge of something. I don't know how, but I like him and I love physics and space and stuff. And then I was thinking about what we're talking about with the astronaut, a helmet, leaning into that element of discovery. So I was coming up with this sort of helmet with Field written in it. The glass of the lens of this visor would be curved. The letters would sort of stretch out.
I like it, but if I use that, it would kind of look like the logo for movie production.
And then I was just thinking about aircraft. I remember we saw Taiwanese Air Force got their US planes parked as a memorial for their service, and there's a lot of symbolism on the planes talking about ejection seats and doors you should not open or places you can't step.
We're breaking the social norm. I was thinking stop sign, which is cross in the middle, and bullet hole right in the middle to break the line.
Kind of like that, caution field eject or field do not open. That brought me back to that brief idea we mentioned about the black box, which is pretty interesting in terms of an object in regards to Field. Charlie was saying Pandora's box, which yes, thing of information that has all these answers or has all these untold stories inside.
Using a strong force to break the sign. I think it's quite cool. Maybe it's too simple, or maybe it's hard to get what it means to graphic.
Whereas I'm more thinking about it in the way that Field is functioning as we are taking on all this information, capturing it, we're recording it, documenting a process, and it's getting put into this black box, which is Field. That's an interesting concept for some sort of logo, maybe?
I like thinking about metaphorical, but I'm not really good at make it as visualizing.
Really what I'm alluding to here is I need to start playing with everything on Affinity. Work through this creative problem and figure out where we're at.
To sound thinking strange.
All right, so I've been spending the better part of a day working on the logo we're running with at the moment. Started with just the word field. We have this sub-label called OB, as in open beta. Everything we're doing right now is a testing phase. We're showing people how we like to problem solve, see how we look at the world, take inspiration and create from, and use that as inspiration for themselves. An open beta, in a video game sense, you know, everybody can come in and play test it. Though we are testing our own things and trying to create something here, we want other people to be able to look at this and go, oh, I could do that too. Started playing with some different fonts. Kind of really like this third one here, the symmetry of it, but it feels a little bit too much like Pinocchio's woodworkshop sort of thing. I was trying to see if I could lean into maybe the internet sort of side of open beta, but I didn't really like the font we ended up with. It was too round. I then found this font, Wide Latin. We both quite liked how angular and flat and stretched it was. Charlie was playing with the sort of layout of the eye. He thought that could be an interesting way to create a different sort of visual intrigue, comparing where we've come from and where we were potentially going with all our options, trying to pick between. I did not like the look of .open beta with this other font, but I much more preferred it with this font. I love the little like flicks and the ticks and the way the kerning is situated in it. Charlie started playing with bringing all the text together, squishing it, make it feel nice and tight and chunky. After a bit of back and forth, we actually realized that it's uneven. The I, the E, the L, the D, and the F are unevenly spaced height-wise. In the open beta part of this font, you notice the unevenness a lot less because of how round the lowercase letters are. Whereas back in Fields, with everything being flat on the bottom, flat on the top, it was really annoying me that you had odd angles all over the place. So I wanted to clean that up. I took it into Fusion, flattened out all of the lines, checked the spacing, I made everything fit a lot better. I even had to reshape the D, make it fit so it fit nicely against the L. The F had to be made taller as well. All of the angles you see on all the shapes were adjusted to be all the same angle, so there's visual consistency. On its own, it stands out really nicely. Then it's going back to the sort of OB sub-label, leaning into, again, computers. I was looking at some weird websites, had really sort of retro-styled dot matrix font. I found this one called Bar. I still like it. Got like a 80s sort of Apple retro charm to it. And I was trying to work out if you do full size with no box, or do you do a box around it to help it stand out a lot more with the field. But it's an issue of contrast and balance with this logo. When you start adding OB on the end, even with color, it doesn't match. It's a balancing game of trying to find the right kind of font that complements nicely with what we've already got. And then it was the funniest thing. Charlie comes in after he'd been out and I'd been working on all these logos, and I was like, a bit of a head scratching moment. I said to him, oh, go upstairs, go do what you need to do, and then come down and I'll show you what I've got. In the 2 or 3 minutes he's upstairs, he comes back down and I made this, which is quite nice, simple, but then I made this. And I absolutely love this. I've tried playing with it. I've tried making it so the angle is same as all the angles on the letters. However, it just is too mixy-matchy when you do that. You realize we need to have it at like sort of a weird in-between angle. The eye is like it's rolling down a hill. It's very interesting. Yeah, definitely gonna be playing with this a lot more. Yeah, even when you're changing colors, it looks quite good. Pretty close orange to what I thought was that flight recorder color. Playing with some then patterns with some different colors. It almost feels like cactuses to me. I'm trying to understand what rules we need to have when using certain colors with the logo, because some things just don't always work. We're still trying to develop some things, but we have a much better understanding of what the logo is at the moment.
Now we got a typographic logo, and we can start working on the graphical part. And right now we have the profile picture and then the banner to work on. And I want to work on the banner because I got some ideas through the mood board we did yesterday or the day before, whatever. But Alex did show some idea of the album, which is like strong industrial background as an image, but they make like certain part into a singular color, which is super cool. And I was thinking like I can do something like that. So in my head, like the picture should relate it to Bill, which I say earlier is exploring, is adventures, is something we both experienced. So I dig through some picture. I was playing with the sense of space because I want to create some sort of like a space that people feel invited, feel like they can do creative stuff in there. So in my head, I was using different layers to create like depth of field. So you kind of like establishing the sense of like space. But I also used the picture that we did in college. I was hammering the notebook, and I think it might fit with the character of field. But this one is more aggressive and also a bit more abstract. I don't know if that is the goal we aiming for. Then I found that one, which Alex did in New Zealand, and that is a volcano kind of like landscape, and still with snow on it, which is super cool. It's wild, it's unusual, so I was like, shit, I can give it a go. The line that in the typographic field is great, is like clean, and the background, the mountain, the snow is like complex, and I feel like both together showing like very strong contrast is something like natural, organic with like very industrial, artificial like it create very strong contrast. And orange and light blue together is also a bit artificial color, not something like you usually see in the nature, which the background is nature, and I think it's bold, which is also the character of the font, which is bold, so I think it worked well. But yeah, what I say? So whatever, I'm gonna cut it. Cut, fuck it.
Well, we've come up with a lot of designs, haven't we, Charlie?
Bruh, I fucking love this.
Yeah, okay. We have a limited range we can work with. Having a profile picture, it's usually got to be within a circle. So I came up with this template to help us set everything in place. I started by placing fields with the orange color of one of those black boxes. Started in a bit more in a graphical way with stripes. I don't mind it. It's a bit flat, but this is the thing. We need it to be simple so someone can read it, and it's going to be quite small. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this one is clean. You can tell the graphic itself is there. I'm more excited about the next one.
This was making the word a bit bigger to help embolden and make everything a bit clearer. Playing around with the stripes and trying to understand how things were going to be put into place. I like this one, the orange and the white. I got the angle from that logo I ended up liking with the top of the eye rolling down.
Yeah, no, I see that. That is interesting though. I don't know why it kind of remind me Finland.
Oh, I see, okay.
But it's cool. I like the slope that we did. It's aligned with the typographic.
If we keep going, it was then the layers on top to make it a bit more easier, and just 3 colors, black, white, and orange. I kind of liked this. I made a box field offset to the side to try and mimic the actual shape of a black box. But the only problem is we're just limited to that circular profile space.
Yeah, and also I like this one because they're related to black box, but the only issue I have is the stripe make it look like the Adidas shoes box.
Oh, I hate how right you are. I see it, I completely see it. Oh my God, okay. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Looking at a lot of these black boxes, especially the ones that are older and the ones that have gone through an accident, then paint is chipped and peeling. They're very worn out. I wanted to grab that texture, apply it here. I was sort of inspired by your banner, Charlie, with the mountain texture, because I love how much depth there is. And there's also a lot of like noise with the grain of that photo.
Yo, yeah, I was about to say this one, like what we did, the mood board you showed, the album, the graphic mixed with the texture of the picture. This is cool. I like it.
No, I totally see it. So then, looking at texture and going through Pinterest and all parts of the internet, I was trying to find images of broken black boxes. We found this one sort of torn half open. I like the thematics behind it of all this information is being ripped open and exposed. So I sort of took that image, played with the color, tried to bring out some weird highlights. And I think it's quite interesting.
Yo, like this is the one I like really liked. The overall object is in blue, but the theming is still centered with orange. I love love this one, and especially the feel in the middle. It's there, but it's also not there. Like it's subtle.
So we continually took some more of this image and played with some of the colors. This is with an orange background. This is then black and white. I don't mind this. You can see a lot more of the detail. Yeah, it's losing some of that character that we had with the first one.
Yeah, now you mentioned I feel like if the background is orange, the dark blue one still jump out a bit more.
Branching off from that idea, Charlie found this really nice picture of a black box. I like the isometric nature of this one, and I think it could be good to create a simplified logo from it. It could use more contrast. Feels like it's a bit too flat. I sort of did this. Brings out a lot more of the depth in the image. It's got a couple different layers of color transformation to bring out the orangey red background through some of the parts, but leave the majority of it quite dark and textured.
No, yeah, I agree. That compared to the last one, I feel this one, the color is a bit more solid. So like it creates its own weight to it. It becomes more physical. Yeah. I quite like this one.
I think it's the strongest one in terms of the contrast that's needed. The text is good from this side, but if we scale this down, this is going to get quite hard to read very quickly. The next idea was to get the F from field and place it on the box. I like this already better than having the flight recorder on the side. Like if you know what a flight recorder is, you can tell what it is. But if you don't know what a flight recorder is, it's this weird box with all these dials and buttons on it. And the only thing identifiable by field besides the color is the F. I think that helped tell like that there's something here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like the typographic part of the logo is solid, it's bold, it's strong. I like how just F, I can see like the feel, the character in there. The only part I feel a bit off is the white here is a bit too bright.
I sort of tried to texture the F, scale it a little bit smaller, make it feel like it was printed on the side of the box, and tried to make it feel like it's a part of this thing. I like this, I do. I like the contrast of it. I like the color. I like how moody it is. You know, I'm not 100% sold. I think it needs something else. It's a cool concept, but I don't know where to take it from here.
I think I get what you mean. Right now, it got its own character. It tells the story. Like if you know what the black box is.
I feel like we are a little bit stuck. We've got this really good logo mark that's strong. We've come up with this graphical identity, our banner, and using real life photos. It's the same problem we're having with OB. It's hard to add OB onto the end because of the contrast. Even though it fits here, I'm still not satisfied 100% with how detailed this is as a logo. I think it's good for the moment. We've sort of exhausted ourselves a little bit with our graphic design, but we have our banner, we have our really strong logo, and this can be an ongoing thing that we end up taking down the road.
I mean, we can always evolving. This is not going to be like a set for internally.
Bro, I think I'm a bit graphic designed out at the moment. I think I need a break.
Me too. What do you want to do?
Well, I need some form of freedom. You're the host here in Taiwan. What are we doing?
Do you want to go for a ride?
All right.
Design doesn't happen at a desk. It happens out here, in the middle of nowhere.
Charlie, where are we?
That is Dandy no.
No!
Or exactly where you should be.
Oh my god.
Sometimes, bad ideas.
You're kidding. No way.
Sometimes, good ones. Two designers.
I don't know where we are.
They have everything.
No plan.
What are you doing there? Figuring out my life, man.
Just Field. New episodes on the way. Only on Field.